Step 3. Roll out a slab. For this part, you will need from your pack the 2 rolling guides provided. These will go on either side of your board. From your kitchen, you will need a rolling pin. The rolling pin should be longer than the distance between your guides. You will also need the plastic card that is provided in your pack. Firstly, put these things aside and get the clay that you have cut earlier. Place this on your board and squash it with the palm of your hand. It's important to use this part here so that you don't hurt yourself. Punch the clay away from yourself and down. This bit can get a bit noisy. When you've squashed it a little bit, lift it up. Try to remove any creases from the material and place it down the other way so that you have flipped it over. Now repeat. With clay, it's really important to give both sides the same treatment and also to make sure that the material underneath isn't stopping your clay from expanding further. So lift up your clay and flip it over. Now get your rolling guides and put them on either side of your board. Get your rolling pin and roll. The rolling guides stop your clay from becoming too thin. After you've rolled a few times, lift the clay up by one end and flip it over. Stretch out the canvas underneath and roll again. This time we're going to turn the clay 90 degrees as well as flipping it over. Get the creases out of your material. Place the clay down and roll. Lift the clay up by one end, try not to bend it too much. Place it down again so you're flipping it over. Straighten out the material underneath, make sure your rolling guides are in place and roll again. Now use the plastic card to compress the clay. This is not just smoothing it, but also pressing downwards. As you can see, the card is leaning slightly towards me. So I'm using it so that it is about 30 degrees to the clay. Go one way and then the opposite. This is compacting the clay as well as making it smoother. Now flip your clay over. Be careful not to bend the clay too much. Pick it up by one end. Straighten out the material. Place it down. You might see some creases. And again, compress the clay carefully. One way and then the other. Remember that the clay must be treated exactly the same on both sides. This is to stop any cracks and also to stop it curling later. Now that it is smooth and compacted on both sides, you can put it in the oven to dry it out a little bit. Alternatively, you can just leave it overnight and that should let it stiffen up. It depends on the temperature in your house, how long you will need to leave it for until it is perfect. Pick it up carefully. Place it down in your baking tray. If there are any bits that are curling, use a small knife to cut those off. That goes in the oven at 50 degrees for between 10 and 15 minutes. You will need to check on it, and in the next video I will show you how to work out whether your clay is ready for the next stage.